What's going on, family? Glad to be here, man. Definitely gonna bless the people again with another live stream.
Definitely, and I'm excited. If you guys caught us our last live stream, we talked about the top 5 myths of business credit and starting your business. We talked about kind of what was fake, what was real, because as we know with technology, it's so much stuff out here right now. If you go on YouTube, you can find 8 different answers for the same question, and it can be a little overwhelming. If you Google, it can be overwhelming because you have so many articles, so many information, so much content to try to go through and really decipher what's real, what's false, and what works best for you. So tonight we're gonna cover the top 3 tips for starting your business as well as building business credit simultaneously. Because one of the myths we didn't even discuss before is um the fact that people say that you can't do both at the same time. Like focus on starting your business, then do your business credit. But
Gotcha.
today we're gonna talk a little bit more about how to do both at the same time.
Gotcha.
So we're gonna do 3 tips apiece. I could drop in. What's some kind of key things before we get into the tips? What's some things that you kind of feel about business credit that you know outside of what we talked about before that people have a misconception about?
I would say, like you said, the misconception that you should do one at a time. I agree. You should be building your business credit and building your business. And the reason I say that is because, more specifically, when you're building your business profile, you need that age. So the longer you wait to start, you're only putting yourself that much more behind the time clock to start, establishing your business profile. Because a lot of lenders, vendors and things like that, they really want to see that you had business credit, just like personal credit, for 6 months, 12 months, 18 months or longer.
Definitely. That credit history, just like personally, it's the same thing that you need on a professional level. For anybody that's watching now, please feel free. We would love for you to share this on your page, share it in your groups. We want to get this information out because as professionals in the business that not only own businesses, but also do the things that we're talking about, we want to make sure that we're getting this information out to the people who need it.
Absolutely.
So, with that being said, we're gonna hop right into some of our before we hop into that, let's talk about this event on Saturday. I'm
Let's do
super
it.
excited about it. What's some of the things from the credit aspect can people kind of expect to walk away from the
Oh
event?
man, so one thing for sure is structuring your personal credit properly. I'm a firm believer in personal credit profile over a personal credit score. So I never quote credit scores. You never hear me say, "Oh, if you got a 700, you good." It's all about your profile. So we're gonna show you the ins and outs, which banks to have on your profile, which banks to avoid, how to actually structure it, how you want to go about starting from scratch, right? Because a lot of people they may be new to credit, they may not even have 12 months of credit. So that's really where you really have to be strategic and really buckle down, because if you do it right, in a year's time, you could be in the driver's seat as far as approvals are concerned for personal and business. So that's
So
definitely a
I have a
takeaway.
question, and this is something that I seen and kind of get the engagement going. So I seen this post where they were talking about how you can buy a car
Right,
with your EIN number. Like
right,
what, and not giving the steps because we know some of these things we gonna give out at the workshop.
right.
But what are some of the things that you have to have in place for that? Because I know you can't just go up to the car dealership and be like, I got a tax EIN, I want to buy this car.
Right.
What does that look like overall?
So I would say one thing for sure, in addition to like I said, having your EIN established, you need to have your business profiles built and established. And what I mean by built out is you want to have at least 3 to 5 trade lines per business bureau. Now, if you're not familiar with the business bureaus, there's actually four, but the three main ones are Dun and Bradstreet, Business Equifax, and Business Experience. So you need to have data on all three business credit reports because you never know which lender is going to pull which, right? Toyota and Ford, they look at Dun and Brad, but then you have Ally Bank, they look at Business Equifax and Dun and Bradstreet. So you just have to make sure that you not only have scores, but you have trade lines with high limits, right? So you have to utilize those vendors. You can't just open up a Quill account, order one time, and think, I built business credit. No, it's a little deeper than that. But yes, to answer your question as far as vehicle auto loans, there are lenders. You got, Mercedes Benz, you got Ford Motor Credit, you got Toyota Motor Credit, you got in some cases Ally Bank, Ally Financial, even BMW. They do some funding, for vehicles, in the business name only. But you just have to be strategic, and again, you have to be meticulous with building your business profile. You can't skip that. You can't just get a Quill, get a U line, and then think you're gonna pull up to the lot, get $100,000 car. That ain't happening.
That ain't happening, baby, because I'm about to open up all my Uline accounts. I'm about to
Right,
be like,
right,
hey,
right,
I'm trying to get a Benz on the card.
right. Yeah, you have to be strategic, man. And one thing I always tell my students, my clients, everybody who works with us, you have to spend with these vendors to build your business profile. Is not just enough to open a vendor account. It's not like when you get a personal credit card, right? You get a $10,000 Bank of America personal credit card, and they see that you have $10,000 available credit. No, on the business profile, you only get credit for what you use. So if you use $300, that's all you have in quote unquote available credit on your business profile.
Exactly. And you're going to learn, if you guys have not signed up, we have 4 seats left for our in-person.
Better jump on it.
$25. 4 seats left. We're so excited. So if you have not gotten your ticket, the link is at the bottom in the comments, www.betheentrepreneur.com/event. And I'm just going to go into more details about how your credit and how to adjust your credit profiles to be able to get what you need. You know what I'm saying? Because if I can buy a car with my business credit, I want to be able to do that. If I can get a building with my business credit, y'all, it's so many things that you can get with your business credit once you get established. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So we definitely gonna go into more details at our training on Saturday. It's just
Absolutely.
$25, light refreshments included, but you can learn how to leverage that business credit. You can literally buy everything you need for your business with business credit.
Yes.
So, go ahead.
No, I say yes, you can. I mean, it's business credit. I always like to tell people, because people ask me, how much business credit can I get? I mean, there's really no limits. There's no cap on it. Now, the real question you have to ask yourself is, where are you in your business cycle, right? If you 0 to 6 months, funding at the beginning can be a little bit of a double-edged sword, right? Because you don't have real data, you don't maybe have, sales volume. There's some things that you definitely want to have in place. I always like to say, I quote my guy Kenny Conwell. He says that business funding is to amplify, right? You use it to amplify. It's like throwing gas on a fire. It's not the match that starts the fire. So, yeah.
I like that, and that's a fact, and that's why I'm so excited that we're doing this, because when I scroll in all these business groups and I see it consistently, like, I need funding, I got a new business, I need funding, or because I write business plans, I always get people DMing me. They don't even care about the business plan. They like, they care about it, but they're like, can you get me grants? Can you get me loans? And I'm thinking in my head, you can't even fill out my intake business questionnaire about your business basics.
Wow.
There's no way that a bank is going to give you a sufficient loan when you don't even you can't even tell me your business model. You know what I'm saying? So going back to that collaboration of both services, you got to realize that even while you're building your credit and when you're trying to get these investment opportunities, you have to build your business. You have to know your business. Because let me tell you what, these people banks, investors, lending companies, they deal with businesses every single day, hundreds of businesses per week. So they can tell when you know what you're talking about and you don't.
Right.
They can ask certain questions and literally knock you out. Like, you won't even, they'll already know before you even do your application that it's a decline. You know what I'm saying? So getting those business foundation stuff that a lot of people try to skip is important. Like, yeah, you can cook. Yeah, you make a good chef. But do you have some type of banking system? Are people able to book with you, and
Right.
is it a streamlined process? Are you still taking paper notes when you doing stuff? Like, just those small things that can automate your process and make you more money.
Yeah, you got to get out of the Zelle and the Cash App.
You got to.
You can't operate that way forever, man. That's just you can't. I would say like you can't be operating as a hustle and then expecting people to invest in your business. If it's a hustle, it's a hustle. If it's a business, there's some structure, there's some organization, there's some positions, manager, supervisor. You got some org charts, some SOPs, things of that nature. That's a business. Hustle is just making money.
Exactly. And a lot of people don't realize and respect the fact that they only have a hustle. They're like, oh yeah, I got a business, I got 3 businesses. Nah, baby, you got 3 hustles, which ain't nothing wrong with that. But just understand where you are. And if you cool with having a hustle, like I know some people that got hustles that work full time and they cool with that.
Right.
They full time take care of all that stuff. They little sideline hustle is enough for them to make a little bit of money to kind of live their life. And some people are cool with that.
Absolutely.
But don't mistake the two because they're totally different.
Totally.
So, hopping into our topic of the day, the top 3 tips to grow your business and your business credit simultaneously. So, I'm going to go first on the business aspect.
Got it.
Number 1 is create a solution to a problem. I can definitely say that the biggest thing that I see, especially in Charlotte, is copycats. Literally, if one person does one thing and it does well, Charlotte will copycat it to death. When I say to death, I mean to death. You got your cheap version of people who really didn't do it. You got your middle class, the people that kind of got it, and then you got your ballers that's really doing it. And you can't do that. You have to have a solution. Because the thing is, if you create a business that has a solution to a problem, especially a consistent problem, you'll never go out of business. Like if you're a mortician, you ain't gonna it's never gonna be a recession for morticians because people gonna always die.
That's a fact.
It's never gonna be people gonna always die. It's never gonna be a recession on things like deodorant, toothpaste, those things that are common necessities. And not saying that you gotta create a business with that specifically, but you gotta have your business gotta be as important to people as these other essentials are, to the point where they want to buy it on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
If I run out of my facial cleaning products, I'm reordering it ASAP before I run out because there's nothing else I want to put on my face.
Gotta have the products.
It's getting them attached to it. You know what I'm saying? What's your opinion on that, Audrey? Creating a solution to a problem.
Now, I mean that's the nature of business. Period. All businesses solve a problem. I mean, you do have product-based businesses, but even those, they're solving some type of need. They're filling a void in the marketplace. So that's what I was saying. Like when you start your business, you're just looking for a void in the marketplace, right? Because you may have a comparable Apple device, right? You may come out with the next iPhone, but if no one knows you have it, you don't have a marketing plan, you're not penetrating the market, and your sales are not where they need to be to compete with somebody like Apple, you just kind of spinning your wheels. So yeah, definitely you have to solve a problem. That's first and foremost. I agree.
Yeah. So if your business don't solve a problem, you're not gonna make money because people won't feel a need to invest in it. So if you're one of those new entrepreneurs, you just started a business and it's not getting you the traction that you want, or you feel like you're not getting the customers that you want, you need to reevaluate your business model and determine if what you are doing is something that people actually need.
Right.
All right, so now it's on you, Audrey. You're going to give us a tip for business credit, establishing business credit.
Yeah, so I would say the first tip for establishing business credit would definitely be make sure you got your entity established and set up correctly. Here's what I mean. A lot of people, they go and they get an LLC or a sole proprietor, they get an EIN, but you need your DUNS number, right? So you need all of these things. Now, when I say set it up properly, what I'm saying is you also need to take into consideration, right, where you want to be a year from now, 3 years from now. Don't open up a P.O. box. A lot of people are using P.O. boxes. They're using these virtual offices that literally, I've seen virtual offices where the address was like a storage facility. So you have to set your business up properly. Make sure you have a website, right? You need a website. Doesn't have to be the next Facebook, but you need a website. You need to have, established web presence. These are things that are kind of the basics, right? When we talk about our 5-step process that we have developed at the CBCA network, step number 1, you form the business, right? Step number 2, you want to make sure that your business is bank compliant. That bank compliant piece is number 2 for a reason. So many people skip that step. You don't have, your domain name. You're using a P.O. box. You're using a Gmail, and you're asking for $500,000, $1 million in funding, and you haven't even taken the necessary proper steps to lay the proper foundation. So that's what I say when I say make sure that you have your entity set up correctly. Use a virtual address, right? If you tight on money, look up what's the virtual address that's cheap. What's the name of it? It's right downtown. I can't think of the name of it. Venture X. That's a great, affordable. I think it's like $40 a month. It may be cheaper than that. They're not in every major city, but if they are in your city, they do offer virtual office services. Now, with these virtual offices, you want to be focusing on shared office spaces. So for those of you who do come to the workshop, we'll be breaking down why shared office spaces is the number one I would say recommendation for virtual addresses, but just make sure that you have the foundation laid properly, because I have to, on a daily basis when I talk to people, they don't have this, that, and the third, and then they're coming to me, hey, I need 200,000, 150,000, and it's like, okay, well, we got to go back and revamp some things, because we can't step to the bank halfway. We got to come correct. So I would say just lay the proper foundation, man. It's very, very important, and a lot of people on my YouTube channel in the comments, they'll say, well, I don't have the money and that, you can't let that be the reason why you don't obtain the funding that you need.
That's a fact. Because you really got to show, honestly, you have to show resiliency.
Right.
A lot of people, even some of the top businesses, they have to put their own money up front before they got it. Like, it's just like anything else. The bank, your lenders, your funders, they want to see that you just invested in as much in this business as they are. You know what I'm saying? In addition, you got to prepare for collateral. A lot of people think people just giving money. It's something that you're going to have to give up for. Collateral is something that's big and people overlook it. Whether that be your car that's paid off, your house, whether that be your liquid assets, you have to give collateral when you give money, because these banks want to make sure that you're going to pay them their money back. And even if you don't pay the money back, then they're going to put a lien on whatever that you use for collateral. They're going to put a lien on it. Right. Now, the only time where it's a little bit easier, so getting direct funding and cash and whatnot can be difficult. Now, a little way to kind of get around that is to go for equipment loans. Equipment loans are a lot easier to get. So if you have a business where you need specifically equipment, now this would not cover your operating costs, salaries, right, overhead, anything like that. But any physical equipment that you need for your business, you can get a loan for. Like when I bought my pre-COVID, I bought a mobile massage bus. So I had a mobile bus that could do massages. So it went amazing. I loved doing it, and I was able to get that with my business credit with an equipment loan. The good things about equipment loans is that, number one, your equipment that you buy, that's used as your collateral. Right. So a lot of times it makes it easier to come up with the collateral, because you can use what you just bought as collateral. So if you don't pay it, they ain't tripping. They just gonna take it back. So that's the best thing about equipment loans, is that you get that collateral from what you buy. The other thing is they're a lot easier to get because the bank knows that they're guaranteed, because whatever you did buy, they know they have access to it. So they're guaranteed to almost get that money back. So they're gonna give it to you a little easier. I would say the downfall of equipment loans, and what you have to realize is the payment terms and the interest rate are always significantly higher. I can say when I was doing my research, the minimal is about 7%. That's the minimum. But on average, about a 10% increase from a regular loan than you would for an equipment loan. But you have to remember, you can't have everything. The money's going to be easier, but the risk for the bank is higher, which means the interest is going to be higher because they want to make sure they get as much of their money up front just in case something do happen as possible.
Yeah. Banks like to mitigate risk, so they like to limit it. And yeah, equipment loans are easy. You just you just have to find the banks that are willing to lend to you. So yeah, I agree. Equipment loans are definitely a great option.
And don't be afraid of non-traditional routes as well. People, we've come so far from the bank in the past 5 years in entrepreneurship, especially as African American minority entrepreneurs. You're gonna have to do a little research. A lot of people just want people to hand stuff to them, but if you go online and you research minority lending companies, minority business loan companies, and not just the loans, because you gotta remember when you put in for these loans and grants and all that stuff, that is you and hundreds of thousands of other people. Like if you put in for them Hello Alice ones that come every day, yeah, cool, you gonna apply for that grant, but you gotta remember, grants are bigger than just I'm putting in this, it's a need, they're gonna give you the money. No, they're gonna balance your need to all these thousands of other applicants and needs. So your chances of getting a grant are very, very, very slim.
Fact.
And I try to tell this to be honest with people, it's not impossible. I've gotten a few grants. But just know, if your business foundation, your model is not together, if you cannot adequately write on paper and explain what your business is, they're not going to give you any money.
Yeah.
I don't care how good your credit score, business, personal, if they cannot trust that you have a business model that works, they're not going to lend you that money.
Yeah, that's why I say, your track record comes into play early on. A lot of people, they just rush to the market. They don't really have a real strategic game plan. They don't fill that void, that gap. And, it can hurt you. Like you say, when you try to get a grant, you write it up and it just doesn't make sense on paper. Now you're back to square one. So always lay the foundation for sure.
Perfect. All right, so we're going on to tip number 2 for how to grow your business and credit simultaneously. So for me, it kind of piggybacks off what Audrey just said. Market research and prepare your launch. I see this a lot with consulting because I specialize in consulting people who are from the idea phase to usually year 2. So the biggest thing that I see for new entrepreneurs, the biggest issue is that they are in a rush. I don't know where y'all rushing to. I don't know what finish line y'all didn't create it for yourself.
That's a fact.
But yeah, I don't know what you're rushing for. The good thing about the blessing about being a new entrepreneur and getting into the game is there's no expectations for you. You ain't got nobody looking for you. You ain't got nobody like, when she gonna post again? You're literally in a beautifully, almost ignorant space to where you can really create your vision. So I have to tell a lot of my entrepreneurs to slow down and really cultivate what you're doing. Because when you launch your product, and I see it all the time, people launch a product and it's halfway done. It don't look good. You disappointed with how it looked, but you set the deadline for it. Why did it have to be August 1st? Why couldn't it be September 1st? You know what I'm saying? Be realistic about what you're doing and how you're doing it. And I say that, like I said, market research. The market research is important because you need to know if anybody even wants to buy your product.
Right.
A lot of people just feel like because they like it, we like it. Yeah, I'm about to start quilting blankets. Okay. If you stay in Florida, how many people you know? I mean, you can do online, but if you stay in Florida, how many people in Florida buy quilted blankets, the layout?
That's a fact.
It's not your market. That's not what you need to be selling. But I guarantee you, if you live in Alaska and you selling custom quilts, you gonna make some money. So that's where that research comes in. What's important with the area that you're in? What is going to make money where you are? And then, like I said, prepare your launch. Take your time. It's a process, and that's one of the things I love about working with my clients is that I provide them with if you talk to any of my clients before we got off that phone or our meeting, whatever, they have action steps. They know when you say action steps, they're gonna think about worry about missing anything. You know exactly what you need to do. So that way, when you launch, they give you time to build your launching awareness. That's another thing people be stressed out about. Like, I launched my product, I ain't getting no sales. Girl, because you just announced it last week. You went from a non-existent business to a business last week, and you promoted for 7 days, and you expect for a big launch.
That's crazy.
Not how it works. You have to prepare, like minimal 90 days. Getting people amped up. Hey, this is about to happen. This is about to happen. Have y'all heard? Do you know? That way, either people gonna be feeling two ways. They're gonna be so excited about it because you done amped them up that they can't wait for the date to come, or they're gonna be so tired of seeing you posting that they just can't wait for the date to come so they can stop seeing you posting. But regardless, you have to build that up. So yeah, that is my tip 2 on how to build your business at the beginning. That market research, knowing that it's a need, and preparing your launch, taking your time and properly preparing your business to launch in the best light.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so you out, unless you got something to feed up back on.
Nah, you definitely broke it down. I would say for me, tip number 2, in regards to funding, is you need to be focused on your personal and business profiles. Too many people say my score is this, my score is a 680, I have a 720, I have a 780. You have to understand that your credit score, the numerical number that you see in your Credit Karma or your MyFICO or whatever monitoring service that you use, that only determines the interest rate. And here's what I mean. If you have, let's say, 3 revolving credit cards with $2,000 limits each, right? Let's say that's the only 3 credit cards that you have. It's going to be extremely hard for you to go to a Wells Fargo or a Chase or one of these banks and get a $20,000, $30,000 line or a $10,000, $20,000 business credit card, because they only want to give you what they see that you can handle. So when you focus on the profile, now you're looking at, okay, how high are these limits, right? What type of banks are on this profile, right? You know, there's different bank tiers, and we'll definitely break that down at the workshop. So for those of you who are coming to the workshop, we'll break down the different bank tiers and show you how to actually fall into each one of those bank tiers and how to do it strategically. But you need to focus on your profile. Now, when I talk about the business profile, like I said earlier, you need to spend money with these vendors. The days of you just spending $80, getting the invoice, ordering some pens and some pencils from Quill, getting some Band-Aids from Granger, those days are kind of over, family. You have to spend some money with these vendors, right? And that's why I say, business credit vendors, net 30s, net 60s, they do tend to lend themselves to be better suited for certain industries, real estate, Airbnb, even trucking, right? So when you're building out your business profile, you may want to partner up. Say you're a new startup, right? And 3 trucking businesses, right? They all do numbers. Hey, I have this gas card. I can give you, access to one of my gas card accounts, once a week when you guys fill up, swipe my card and, I'll send you an invoice for the amount and pay the bill back. That's an easy way to get, $500, $1,000 on that gas card that you didn't necessarily have to go out and spend out your business. Now, again, you have to be strategic, you have to be creative, but you need to focus on your personal and business credit profiles. I get DMs all the time, people commenting on my YouTube, hey, I got this score, what can I get? I really don't know until I look at your credit report. A lot of people get, mad and upset, hey, I need to see the profile. I can't really give you an answer without looking at the profile. I'm always going to ask you, hey, I need to see the profile. I need to see what's going on. Do we got any negative items? Do we got any tier 4 banks that we may need to get rid of on the personal side? Are we spending enough on the business profile? So there's a plethora of things that go into a business funding or business lending decision. So just be mindful that, just because you have that heralded 700 credit score, I've seen people get denied with 700 credit scores. I've seen people with 670s get funding left and right, all the way, up and down the street. So the profile. And like I said, when you come to the workshop, we'll break down how that profile should look, both personal and business, because it's very, very important, especially going into, what could be some rocky times, right? They're calling for potential recession. So now banks tighten up even more. So you have to hit a smaller bullseye, right? It might have been this big before COVID. Now it may be this big. So you have to be extra, extra, extra on point. So when you come to the workshop, we're going to show you exactly the blueprint on how to structure both your personal profile and your business credit profile so that you can get funding for your business.
Yeah, I'm glad you broke that down because I didn't even know. When you said profile, I'm like, oh yeah, he's talking about that number. But when you said talking about the number, I'm like, oh, he ain't talking about the number.
Right.
So I'm excited. I'm definitely looking forward to learning some stuff about business credit getting in because my businesses are made up of I kind of funded all of them just at the time when I did them. So now as I'm going into new businesses, especially like the skating ring, you know, it helps to know stuff like this because you know that's a lot of moving parts. So to have that funding, that backing is definitely key. So if you're on here live, please don't forget to share. We want to make sure we get this information out. And if you have not, please make sure that you get your tickets for this Saturday. It's only $25. It's going to be a strong 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours of information. Everything we kind of talked about today, we're going to delve a little bit deeper. Like literally, I'm breaking down, by the time you leave on my end, you're going to have your starter business plan created. So that way, if you wanted to go write your business plan, or if you wanted to hand that off to me, I can complete your business plan for you. But by the time we leave the workshop on Saturday, you will have a full comprehension of your business, how it works, and your business plan. And then with Audrey, you're going to know exactly what you need to build your business credit. He is going to break it down step by step. Do this, do that, do this. This is what you need on there. This is what you don't need. And sometimes that's the type of guidance that you need. People want to go on YouTube all the time and Google, which are good for starters. But it gets to a point where you got to get an expert in the field to be able to kind of close that gap. That way you're able to take the information from what you got on YouTube and Google, tie it to the expert. You like, oh, okay, this is how it all ties together. And it's like putting two halves to a whole. So with that being said, I'm going to come with my last tip for how to grow your business and build business credit. And that will be understanding your target market and your buyer's persona. These are two simple things that people really, really overlook. Because the thing is, if you know your buyer's persona, which is basically who your client is. For example, for my skating ring, my buyer persona, millennials, African Americans, free spirited, skate lovers, active, those kind of keywords. They usually middle class. They usually make around that 35 to 55,000 per year. A lot of our population that come to our events, they stay mainly in the university area, South Carolina, NODA. So these are all these small little pieces that build up your buyer's persona. Because now, once you know your target market and your buyer's persona, now you know where to find them. But my massage business is totally different. My clients come from South Park, Valentine, North Lake, Mooresville, Waxhaw. So when I'm promoting for my mobile massage business, I'm targeting these areas. So a lot of people get frustrated in the startup business process because you like, oh, my product for everybody. Anybody can do this. That is true, but everybody's not going to buy it. It's a certain type of person that is going to buy your product. And your job as a startup entrepreneur is to figure out who this person is and where they are. And once you find those two things, when you start pushing your marketing towards where those people are, y'all, I'm telling you, it's a no-brainer. The money comes because you're marketing to people who gonna buy it. I can post on my Facebook all day that I do fishing. Hey, I do fishing.
Right.
Ain't none of my friends fish. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nobody gonna hit me up. So you gotta know where you posting, how you posting, and who you posting to. So understanding your target market and buyer's persona, doing that breakdown, that's important.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I'm dropping a video next week on buyer personas. And if that's something you need help with, definitely set up a quick 30-minute session with me at BeTheEntrepreneur.com. And we can literally go through and create your business lean canvas as well as your buyer's persona. Then we will create a plan of how you can get into the market of where your clients are. Because there's different strategic ways. I've done it all. Cold call, cold emails, pulling up on them, dropping off letters,
Pull up on them.
Facebook groups, prayer groups, y'all. Anything you can think of, I done did it to get out here. So,
Really?
if you need that assistance, I got you.
Right on. Prayer groups. That's a new one. That's a new one. That's a new one, man. You just dropped the jewel on me, man. Prayer groups. I'm about to Google prayer groups tonight. Prayer groups, North Carolina, South Carolina. Pray on this funding, man. What you need?
Pray on this funding. Hey, you need your prayer groups. Hey, look, whew. Jesus lovers need money too. Look.
Absolutely, they do. It's all green.
All right, Audrey, it's on you to bring us on home with our last credit tip of the evening.
Yeah, so I would say to bring it around, bring it home, I would say the biggest thing you can do to set yourself up for success when you're building your personal and business credit profile or just trying to access funding is you need to start developing relationships with multiple banks. Yes, you may bank with Wells Fargo, but you need to holler at Truist. You need to talk to PNC. You need to be talking to the local banks, the first banks, the True Lion Federal Credit Unions. You need to be having conversations with these banks, right? I saw a video, gentleman, rest in peace, Darrell Freeman. He actually was a successful entrepreneur in Tennessee, and he was part owner of a bank. And one of the things that he said that really stuck out to me was that he said you need to be meeting with 3 to 4 bankers every quarter. And I agree with that, right? Because yes, you may get that $50K from Bank of America that you've been with for 10 years and they know you and they know your business, they see the deposits. But when that $50K is exhausted, where's your next stop, right? You need to be constantly developing new banking relationships, right? And you want to be cultivating relationships, not just a one-sided transaction situation. So for those of you who are attending the workshop, we're going to break down for you how to find banks, how to interview banks, right? Because most times when you go to the bank, you're the one being interviewed. You're the one being grilled. What's your business? What's your gross sales? How much revenue? How much do you need? How much, we need your children's DNA. We need your sister's social security. We need all of it. We need, we want all your properties, everything like that, right? So you're the one being interviewed, but how do you actually interview the bank, right? How do you figure out which bank is right for whatever type of funding that you're looking for? But you need to start building these relationships. You need to be talking to multiple banks, right? And we'll show you how to find the banks. We'll show you how to actually, vet the banks and whatnot at the workshop. But you need to start now. You need to start building up your Rolodex, right? When you go out, I'm not a huge fan of quote unquote networking events, but when you're just out and about, tell people, hey, I got a bakery shop. I'm right off of Plaza Midwood. We're looking for $100,000 to get our next shop. If you know anyone who could point me in the right direction, just let everybody know how much you're looking for, what you're using it for. And I promise you'll bump into people who, oh yeah, well, so-and-so neighbor is the vice president at Chase Bank, and they'd be happy to, have a conversation with you, or, oh, so-and-so at Truist just told me that they got a new program, and, I met them at church, and, just out and about. When you're out and about, hey, you don't necessarily need to have a business card, but you do want to make people, you want to introduce yourself, you want to make it mutually beneficial. A lot of times when I'm out and about, I'm asking questions about other people's business. Oh, you're an entrepreneur. What type of business you own? Okay. Your gross sales. How are you acquiring customers? Just having casual conversations, but always try to slip that in, because having relationships with multiple banks will be the game changer for you getting funding for your business now and in the future.
Excited. If you just hopped on this Saturday from 3 to 5 for only $25, you will get everything you need to adequately build your business credit and start your business simultaneously. On my end, and I'm gonna let Audrey say what you'll walk away with, but on my end, you will be walking away with a full refreshment, of course. And you will also walk away with a full business plan to help you plan and execute your next step in your business, regardless of where you but Audrey, tell them a little bit about what they can expect from you.
Yeah, so when you come to the workshop, you're definitely going to learn how to actually structure your personal and business credit profiles, right? Because that's very, very important, right? We're going to teach you a little bit about how to actually find banks in your local area, okay? Because, like I said, when you have these relationships, right, it's a lot easier to have conversations about funding, right? Banks get a little bit more creative when they know you and they like you and they trust you, right? It's not so much that you know you fit into a box. So you'll walk away learning how to actually build your personal and business credit profiles, how to actually walk in the bank and interview the bank, and you'll learn how to actually, do a round of funding, right? Because a lot of people, where they get tripped up too, is that, they have a bunch of inquiries, they kind of shotgun applications, and they're not necessarily following a blueprint or a step-by-step process. So we'll show you how to actually complete your rounds of funding so you can get funding quicker and more efficiently, and it's not detrimental to your personal credit profile. So you definitely you got to pull up, man. I honestly, if you missed this one, man, it's shame on you. I'll say that.
I second that. Well, you guys see the link in the comments. Definitely register. We have 4 spots left. We definitely want to get those filled up.
YouTube, y'all pull up. I was telling YouTube, pull up, man. Y'all got to come out, man. If you're in North Carolina, South Carolina area, man, Saturday, 3 to 5. Be there, be square.
Well, as always, Audrey, I appreciate you.
Absolutely, fam.
I'm super excited about Saturday, and
yeah.
I will see you on Saturday.
Absolutely, man. We'll be there, man, 3 to 5. So y'all come out. If you're on the YouTube, you can text BIZ to 980-825-4360. That'll send you the link to register for the event via text, or you can just hit the link below if you're on Facebook, man. But definitely love to see everybody come out because this information is needed. It's timely. Things in the marketplaces can be a little bit. This is kind of uncharted territory for some entrepreneurs, newer business owners. So if you need help, or if you're looking for answers to questions that's just keeping you up at night, you got to be in the building.
Oh yeah, baby, I got the answer. If it's a startup business question, if you in the thinking phase, vision phase, all the way up until year 2, I got the answers for your business questions. Literally, just about anything you can ask me, I already know what's up. So, not only will this be an opportunity for you to learn, but this will be an opportunity for you to really ask direct questions face-to-face, something we haven't really been able to do in the past 2 years. Really ask professionals direct questions that you may have.
That's
what we will tell you is you will need a laptop. Do not come without a laptop or a tablet, some type of electronic device, because we're going to be working on those laptops. You're going to need it to really get the full feel of the training. And number 2, go ahead and have your questions ready. Like, if you already got business questions that you've been thinking about, right, go ahead and get them business questions ready, so that way when you come on Saturday, we'll be prepared to answer those questions. You ain't gonna be like, dang, I thought about this, I thought about that, but you really have an action list of what you need help with. Exactly. So you can go away not only with what we teaching, but any additional voids that you may be having with growing your business.
Amen. I agree.
All right, well, with that being said, we are out of here. We'll see y'all Saturday. If you
Saturday, man.
me or Audrey, we'll get you the link, but we'll see y'all in the building on Saturday.
All right, fam. Y'all be easy. In the live stream. How do I end this thing, man?